welcome back to Girls in the Paddock. You are joined by your hosts, Georgia and
Hi.
Lara. And I know we've been on hiatus for a little bit. We've been busy finishing our degrees.
Yeah, but we are back and ready to go. Ready to...
Yeah, we're going to get into next year's grid because it really just ties in with all of the news in the F1 world in the last however many months we've been gone.
Literally, everything's just all linked together at this point, so we're just going to make it easy for everyone and for ourselves and just introduce ourselves back whilst doing a 2025 grid chat.
Yeah? All right, let's get into
Let's
it.
dive right in. So, both of us, let's do this.
Starting with Red Bull.
Yeah, we'll do like all the easy teams and I guess, not a lot of controversy going on around it.
Yeah, I mean, there could be controversy with Red Bull.
Good argument. There always is when it...
But obviously, so Max is contracted till 2028.
Yeah.
He is Red Bull's golden boy.
There was a lot of...
There's no getting rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of chat at the start of the year, though, about trying to, bring him over to Mercedes when there was that loose seat.
Yeah.
Remember that? There was, a lot of, oh, yeah, we've been talking to, Max and stuff to bring him over to Mercedes, and it was oh. And then there was, more rumours of Max saying, yeah, I'd do it, and everyone was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was like, Max, why would Max leave a prime seat?
Yeah.
For a car that's not doing fantastically right now.
It's been doing a bit better as the season's gone on, but, yeah.
It's definitely, improved, but when the Red Bull's a rocket ship, the Mercedes is just, second tier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's okay, interesting. Especially when he's got a higher chance of winning the championships continuing with Red Bull. So it's oh, wait a minute.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense for him to leave.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would ever break his contract. Unless there was something made.
That's what I thought about Lewis Hamilton leaving Mercedes. I never thought it'd happen.
True.
And yet, look where we are.
That's a fair point. Fair argument. I'll allow it. You got me good there. But we'll get to Lewis in a second. We're getting there slowly.
We will.
We also have Checo. That took a long time for them to reconfirm his seat. A very long time. Originally, there was rumours that he wanted a 2-year. They wanted to give him a 1-year renewal, and then in the end, they've settled, I believe, on a 2-year. Anyways, I think he's there till the end of 2020.
Yeah, I think that's what that's what they settled on.
Yeah, I know.
Theoretically.
Yeah, at the beginning there was a lot of talk where it was he wanted 2 years, Red Bull only wanted to give him 1. Here we are, he's managed to snag 2 years, which is pretty impressive. He's had a couple of podiums recently, hasn't he? Or a podium recently?
He's had at least a podium recently. But I don't know, he's kind of one of those drivers that it's I feel like it's always up in the air for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very Danny Rick
don't
vibes
necessarily...
that he could disappear.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see, Red Bull actively getting rid of him, but I'm also in the boat of, why are we keeping him? He's not doing incredible. I mean, he's not doing badly. He could be doing a lot worse, and I guess he's helping Red Bull with the championship in some capacity, but is he really the best choice?
Well, if you're going to get rid of him, who are you putting in his place?
I mean, I am very biased.
I know.
I am, but I really do think I would have liked to have given Daniel Ricciardo a chance.
Yeah.
If he flops, if he fails, fine, whatever. He had his chance. The point was proved.
Without bias,
whatever.
Who else would you choose?
I still will, completely taking my bias out of it. I still think that Daniel Ricciardo deserves
imagine Danny's not an option. I'm stealing him away from you because I'm
but I think I guess Liam Lawson would probably be the next best person to put in the seat. I do think that he is still quite young, and I love him, I do, but I do think that he's a bit overhyped as a driver.
Okay.
Generally.
Oh, okay.
I think
That's a
he's fantastic.
controversial
Like, don't get
take.
me wrong, but I think he's
The
received
New Zealanders will come for you.
so much. No, he's received like he's doing fantastically. Don't get me wrong, but I think people expect
I will
more
put
out of
her
him
address in the
than
description
what
for
he's
you New
capable
Zealanders to
of.
get her. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I can.
who would you?
I'll in Red Bull. Well, there was a lot of talk about putting Yuki in there for ages, but it was kind of like a maturity thing in the way he performs at. Oh my god, I've just gone blank. Racing Bulls, Red Bull, too many names. Cash App, Visa, blah, Visa, Cash App, Red Bull Racing. Is that it? Visa, Cash App, Red Bull Racing.
Nope.
Visa
Cash App Racing Bulls.
That was exactly what I said. Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. V-carb. I'm going to just say V-carb.
Just say V-carb.
Saying V-carb. But yeah, I guess kind of like the maturity thing, and as we know, he's someone who does like to throw in a few swear words over his radio every once in a while. So, I don't know. I also think I would have said Lawson for the Red Bull seat. Popping him in and giving him that opportunity. I mean, he's their reserve driver and everything. I think their other reserve driver is Dennis Hager, is it?
Hauger.
Yeah, Dennis Hager.
Is he? I thought he wasn't in the Red Bull Academy anymore.
Oh, he might not be. I don't know who else. I'm going to...
I could be wrong. Isaac Hadjar.
Red Bull.
Is definitely one of their juniors.
Who, sorry?
But Isaac Hadjar is one of their juniors.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah. So it's Liam and Isaac. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, as someone that watches a lot of F2, I understand like why Isaac is a Red Bull junior, but for me, he falls into the same boat as Yuki for why I don't think that they're right for the Red Bull seat, in which they're a little bit too immature for that team.
Yeah, I feel like PR-wise and media-wise, Red Bull would have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's the thing. They like to throw a few swear words over the radio. There was one race where Isaac Hadjar was nearly winning and then he didn't win, and he basically had a hissy fit.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah, that was earlier on in the season, wasn't it? And
it was. So it's like I see why he is one of their juniors, and I think he could be really good in B-carb, but I'm not sure that he's right for Red Bull.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in the sense of like seniority,
seniority.
Yeah. I also low-key, high-key would have loved to see Carlos go back to Red Bull. I was kind of really like starting to go, oh my God, like this could actually happen. Like Carlos could be going to Red Bull. And then it was like, oh shit, okay, maybe he could be going to Mercedes. But there was a part of me that was like, Carlos at Red Bull would have been really interesting to see. I reckon.
I think he would have done a fabulous job. But I just think that Red Bull treated him too badly for him to ever want to go back.
Yeah, and you're well aware that Max is going to be the number one driver and you're going to be there as the shadow kind of thing, and you're not going to... I mean, I guess that's kind of what he's experiencing as Ferrari as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he does go in Williams, but we'll get to that when we get to Williams on our list.
We'll have to discuss.
But as we can see, I am very happy about his most recent win. I am ecstatic. Yes. I've come full in my Carlos merch, also with my Red Bull.
As you do. Not a weird contradiction at all.
No, God no. Then you got like the McLaren hat right here. it's all happening.
Hello, look,
Max hat
look at my wall.
Yeah, true. We've got the Max hat.
We've got
Carlos.
This is a Danny. Look, we've got a Danny hat, an Alex hat, a Danny hat, a Max hat.
I love that. As you can see, my dogs now also trying to suss out what hats there are. Yeah, I think Carlos would have been good potential in Red Bull, so I was a little disappointed. I wasn't surprised when they did sign Checo again, but personally I was on the bandwagon of having him back at Red Bull and seeing. But as you said, the way he was sort of treated all those years ago when he was teaming with Max, It's two of them there. I can understand why he wouldn't want to go there, but I am a little shocked in the sense of, like, teams with what... again, we'll get to Carlos, deep dive eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to Carlos, but I don't think Red Bull had as many options as it was made out to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like Red Bull kind of was like, oh, we've got all these options. Like, if Checo leaves, it's fine. Like, not stress if we can't sign Checo. And then it's just, like, done a whole 360 and come back and gone, okay, we're keeping Checo. And it's like, oh,
like,
okay.
Let's say in the case scenario of, okay, they couldn't get Checo, so they put Liam in the seat, but then suddenly they decide Daniel's not performing. Do they then bring in another rookie junior? Like, I feel like that's a whole discussion for another day. But, like, that's a whole, like, tough situation to have two rookies in two seats.
Absolutely. That's the thing. It's very... I feel like they also don't know what they're doing at this point. I feel like they've got no clue. No. I'll be honest. And they've lost Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
Who was skipped on down the paddock, gone into Aston Martin. So, again, that's kind of old news at this point, whereas we've been very far behind with uni work. Again, finishing a degree, valid excuse, okay? But, yeah.
Yes. Moving on to Mercedes.
Mercedes, okay. Our lists are different.
Yeah, our lists are different. I have them in whatever order I found them in, and you have them in probably a better order, but
I have McLaren next, but we can do Mercedes.
I mean, we can do McLaren. I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, let's do Mercedes, because I said so.
Cool. Again, this is an interesting one. This is very interesting.
So, we obviously have George. I believe his contract is currently till the end of 2025.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. There's not much to say on George. George is George. He's just chilling.
He's been doing good.
Mercedes is very a British white boy team, and he's a British white boy, so I've got nothing else to say on that.
So it's perfect. It's you literally that's it, and that's the end of the episode. We hope you enjoyed. Because it
was nice talking to you again.
Literally, that's pretty much that's spot on. He's just here. Where is he in the standings?
I want to say he's like...
He's seventh. He's got 177.
Woo!
Go girl.
That was a random guess.
That was good.
Like, I literally had not a clue.
That was a good job. I liked that. I'm impressed. I think, George is good for the team. He's helping develop the car, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, I think he makes complete sense for the team. I think he's doing a good job, and I think he just makes sense for the team.
Yeah, I agree. As you said, there's not a whole lot to say. It's sort of like the Max thing. Like, there's not a whole lot to say. He was already a confirmed seat, so it's kind of like everyone was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, not so.
Yeah, but
on the other hand,
his partner for 2025 is
the freshly 18-year-old Kimi. He would have just been able to get his driver's license in Australia, in Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria's a rip.
Yeah, so...
Anyways, Kimi, I thought it was an interesting choice of Mercedes to bring in a rookie. I didn't think that was going to happen.
It makes me... I am keen as a bean to see how Kimi goes next year, but my little giggle is that they announced him, and then he did an FP1, and then... went right.
And then he crashed the car.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Not a good opening introduction to, this is our 2025 driver. And I think a lot of people also just went, oh, Jesus Christ. I think Toto Wolff has too much faith, or is putting almost too much pressure on him in the sense that he's expecting to create this, like, Max Verstappen, because that's very much the way it's been put out to the media and everything. Like, it could be a different story, but the way it's been presented, it's very much like, okay, Red Bull had Max when he was in his teens, let's grab Kimi while he's in his teens, and let's Like, really, because this is his first season in F2, isn't it? He went directly to F2.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he should at least be doing a couple of seasons in F2 to also just build your own confidence.
See, that's what I thought as well. I was like, I understand why Mercedes signed him, and I think he's a really good young driver, and there's a lot of room for development. But he went straight from Frecker to F2, and if he was dominating F2, I would say sign him yesterday. But he's not dominating. He's doing well, but he's not dominating.
Let me look at the F2 standings. Where would you like to guess?
And
Kimi
I think
is?
that he's a. I reckon he is.
You did good before. Fourth.
I think he might be fourth. Am I really far off?
Not really far.
His driver code is ANT.
He's sixth.
Okay.
So you're not bad.
That was going to be my original guess, but I thought that was too low.
Yeah. No, you were close. I'll give it to you.
But,
like, sixth is not bad.
Yeah, I think...
Like, that's... Still...
It's not bad by any means.
But it's also, like you said,
I just think that, like...
dominating. But then again, like, what Williams pulled Logan out while he was fourth. But again, look how that went. And he was also with it for a couple years.
The thing that I will say that's different, and I think I've said this on the podcast before with Logan, was that Williams has always been, well, not has always, but in the last 5-10 years has been really underfunded, and they barely had a driver academy, and especially when Logan was brought up into the seat, they didn't have a driver academy, and they kind of just had to pluck the only thing that they had.
Don't talk about my
and so, whereas Mercedes did have a few more options, they didn't really have. I don't necessarily think that they had better or worse options than Kimi, but they had other options, and I just think that one more season in F2 would have been good for just his general development as a driver, like really just finding his own style.
Even if they signed someone else for just the 1 year, because Kimi's only signed for 1 year anyways. So even if they had signed someone else for 25 and then 26, if they really wanted Kimi in, then bring him in, let him like get a couple of seasons of F2 under his belt, let him develop, and again, gaining that confidence. Like, I'm sure he's already got that confidence, but it's still like so young and coming up into F1. I could imagine the pressure would just be astronomical. Like, and to pull him straight out of it,
coming into
there's high expectations for him, and that's scary.
For sure. Like, coming into a big team like Mercedes.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not like he's just going to, like, Williams or, Sauber or something like that.
I think it would have
been... Mercedes is high profile.
Absolutely, and it's up there. It's up there as a champion. I mean, Williams has won championships, haven't they? Like, yonks ago. Yeah. But, like, I guess in more recent times, Mercedes is, like, obviously look at Lewis and everything. It's up there.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, do you think it would have been worth putting him in Williams next year and then potentially putting like a different reserve in Mercedes, or even putting Carlos in Mercedes? Because again, that was another rumor that was kind of said around. Do you think he would have benefited in Williams?
I do think that could have been an option. I just think that, and look, maybe he'll come out of the gate flying and he'll win a race on debut. But until that's seen, I just think that the more development a young driver gets, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe and I think in a less high pressure environment, probably would have been a better choice, because Mercedes is so renowned, so high pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah, and I do think it'll be really interesting. It'll also be interesting to see how they treat George and Kimi as a duo, like who they're going to really prioritise. If this means they're going to put George as the number one and really have Kimi there just developing and everything, which is what would make the most sense, is like the most logical thing to happen, like you would think. But
for sure, it'll also be interesting to see if they sign Kimi on for a multi-year contract, or if they like plan on only keeping him for a year or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because who are Mercedes' other reserves? Vesti?
Their other reserve driver is Frederick Vesti.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I feel like he would have done well in Mercedes.
I think he could have done well in Mercedes for sure. I I don't necessarily. I mean,
What's he
know
doing at the moment? He's in another league.
I don't know what he's doing. That's a great question.
I know he's in
but I was going to say, like, I haven't seen him and Kimmy go head to head. So,
yeah,
he's, at least for next year, he's driving in IMSA.
Yeah,
which
right.
I don't know what that is.
I
And I
he was
think
in
he's
a
been
different
doing
league.
He's been doing
He did Le Mans.
what's the word? Le Mans. That's the one.
Yeah.
He's been doing Le Mans. Yeah. But he was the F2 vice champion. So
Yes, that was stressful. Watching that race last year. My heart rate is still.
No kidding.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting to see how Kimmy goes. I'm still a bit like, I don't know.
Unsure.
Good luck to him. I hope he does do well, for the sake that if it was me, I would be shitting bricks with all the pressure. So get it, girl. I believe in you.
Yeah,
but
literally.
I hope he doesn't get slaughtered if he doesn't do as well as people expect. Which he will. If he doesn't, people will rip him to shreds, as you do in this sport. So that's just the way some people are. But I do hope that he's got that mentality to just fight through it and keep pushing and not let it get to him. Which, again, would be so hard.
No.
And again, I feel like that's why you almost need that other year in F2 just to really develop your maturity and, like, develop the way you handle things. Because, again, 18, like, that's so young.
So young.
It's such a high-pressure sport. Speaking of music stars, though, this is completely off topic, but on topic. Have you seen the rumours about Lando Norris apparently being in one of Tate McRae's new music videos?
I saw that. Because
my man is doing side quests.
Apparently she was advertising her music video with a helmet, but then someone speculated that it might be Lando Norris, but I'm like...
Which could make sense with, like, quadrant, like if it's a quadrant sort of thingity-bobbity-boo, if they do it that way.
But, like,
but also, I was like, what the fuck? I saw that.
When does he even have time?
This man...
When does bro have time?
He's just made a fragrance... Well, he's partnered with Ralph Lauren, isn't it?
Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, for a fragrance. Yeah. Like, if he pulls up in a music video... Have you also seen that new movie with Jack Antoff's Mrs. Margaret... I can't think of what her last name is.
Quali.
And it's that horror movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips.
Have you seen the memes about the young doctor that's in it that literally looks exactly like Lando as well, but with, like, bright blue eyes and no facial hair, like a 16-year-old version?
No, I haven't.
It was creepy.
So
Lando is genuinely out here doing side missions, because that's all I've seen in relation to that movie is everyone going, what the fuck is Lando doing here?
Lol. Maybe this guy?
He's the young, like, obviously young, but he's the really young doctor.
I assume they mean this guy.
Bring it this way. Come, no, yep. I think that's him. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But he doesn't look anything like Lando in my opinion. Maybe he does. Maybe he does in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the movie, the way he's very structured and, like, very cleany, sort of cleany. Nothing. But, like, yeah, in the movie, like, all the comments I've seen on TikTok from, like, clips is like, wait a damn minute, what's Lando doing here? So Lando's really out here doing side missions, which I guess brings us to our out here doing next side quests. Team, McLaren.
It does. McLaren. So,
our dear boy Lando.
No shocks or surprises with McLaren.
They've proven this year is just... Whew.
We have Lando until 2027, at least.
I think.
It could be more. Pretty sure it's 2027 for now.
I think.
Which is a yonk away. That is still another 3 years.
Yeah.
And King is getting
Isn't
it.
He has been doing... Like... I have no words. I really want to see him win a championship, but, like, what that would be, Max needs to really fuck up the next few races.
Yeah.
Because Max is on 362, Lando's on 315, And what's the gap? I can't do simple maths. What's the gap between that? I'm getting my calculator up. I can't do basic maths. Sorry, team.
It's 50 points.
Oh, the suspense!
So it's 50 points with 4 races, including this weekend, to go.
Oh. Yeah, I want him to. I really want Lando to get a championship, but I feel like the pressure is going to be on. But Max received a grid penalty, but that's completely off topic. I'll stay on topic.
He got a grid penalty for an engine change, though, not for like anything he did.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So Lando just has to win at least twice, and Max can't finish in the points for Lando to landslide victory.
Oh, that stresses me out. What do we think, people? Do we think Lando has the potential to? It's really more a Max thing. It's guessing if Max can get that title up.
I think it's really less about can Lando do it. It's more, yeah, you're right. Like if Max can keep consistent, because realistically, Max doesn't have to win.
No,
he just has to stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
And he needs to pretty much. At this point, he doesn't need to beat Lando. He just needs to do well.
Exactly.
And then he pretty much has the championship. But it could come down to the wire for sure.
Yeah, that kind of makes me a bit nervous. Makes me a bit like, whoa. I would love to see Lando win, but even if he finishes second with such a close call, it'll just be like, oh, like it'll be amazing to then see next year's season and see how they develop both cars.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because, Red Bull doesn't have Adrian Newey anymore, which is a huge loss for them.
Yup.
But McLaren's been making huge strides this season, but it's also, like, how much time and development are the teams going to put into their 2025 cars?
Yeah, exactly.
Considering that they can't use those developments for 2026.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. It's like we've got to try and, like, team-wise, they'd be thinking we've got to balance out what we're doing for next year, not go, I guess, overboard, like, as you said, in the sense that 2026 they're going to have to almost start from scratch. So it'll be interesting, but we'll get to review the car reveals a bit later on. The car reveals, yeah.
It'll be exciting.
When they come out.
And then, of course, our current favourite Aussie on the grid, Oscar Piastri.
Again, someone who's also been doing incredibly well. We've kind of had the whole issue, well, not the issue, but the controversy about his first race win kind of being handed to him with everything that happened between him and Lando, which I can completely see both sides of that. It did feel a bit like...
Yeah.
I think it
was overshadowed by that, and I think that, I think Oscar did deserve to win, and I see both sides of why people think Lando should have won and why I think Oscar should have won, but I do think that Oscar had a good race and unfortunately just had a good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes strategy just makes all the difference.
Yeah, exactly right. So I can completely understand that, but then he did get his second win as well, so... It's okay.
Did.
And that one, I think, probably felt more like a win for everyone because it was,
Yeah, I feel bad that Oscar has won 2 times in his only second season of F1, and it took Lando until this year.
I think that quite often.
I may not be a huge McLaren fan, but that one still hurts.
Yeah, between the two and looking over the next few years, who do you think? Do you think they both have championship potential, or how do you think McLaren handle that?
I think based on what I've seen currently, I think Oscar has more championship potential than Lando.
What makes you say that?
I think that Lando is a really good driver. I absolutely think that. But I think that maybe on track, sometimes he gets a little too hot headed and tries to take
Okay.
on too many battles that he can't come out of.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, and this is all my personal opinion and
Yeah, yeah,
speculation,
yeah.
so nobody in the comments of the one person that watches this
If you
video
want to
come for me.
address DM me personally, get to work.
Back to what I was saying is I think that currently Oscar's still in his development phase,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think McLaren's in a better development phase with their drivers now than they were when Lando started. And Oscar
Absolutely.
generally has a lot more of I think he has a calmer personality than Lando does. And on track, he knows what to take on and what not to take on. And whether that's just because he's a bit cautious because he's young, I don't know. But I think that moving into the future, I think that McLaren will probably start to lead towards Oscar more because they can develop him more because he only has not even 2 seasons yet under his belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, Lando's got more and they couldn't have all of those early development with him because
Yeah.
they weren't at that point with their cars, with their development, with everything like that.
And I guess Lando probably
That's my
hasn't really
opinion.
been viewed as the number one driver during that period. I mean, you had Carlos there and then Danny. So I think he probably hasn't been prioritized a whole lot. And so, these past 2 seasons have probably been a bit more Lando focused and trying to get him these wins, which has been amazing to see just the way he has been dominating. But yeah, I get what you mean with the development and everything.
Yeah, that's the only reason, I think, just because of where McLaren's at with their development. I think they can put more into developing Oscar than they can into developing Lando
Yeah.
because Lando's already kind of
Okay.
not set in his ways, but he's just a lot more experienced than Oscar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that's
it
my
sounds
opinion.
like there's, the bit of the, I wouldn't say, I guess, drama, but personal team drama with the drivers and stuff with the whole, what was it, Team Papaya rules or like Papaya rules when they said that over the radio. And everyone was like, ew, what?
This is a whole thing about, this is team orders in general. I'm so sick of people blaming the drivers for team orders.
Yeah.
Because realistically, and I get when drivers get upset. It's annoying when, you're out there winning a race and then your team says to you, hey, you got to swap the place.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying. But people need to stop, you know, blaming the drivers because they have to eventually do what they're told.
Well,
Unless you're Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber,
and
then you have to do what you're told.
You look at the radio discussions between Lando and his team that day that Oscar got his first win. It was very if you don't do this, you're going to get your ass whooped by the team. It was very
Exactly.
They weren't even kind of giving Lando any sort of option. It was mate, if you don't move, you're getting your ass dragged out that car and we're beating you. It was very oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
For Lando's own reputation and everything, it's okay, just let him pass. But in the end, Lando was hot on Oscar's ass anyway, so it was
that was the thing. It was okay, I get it if Lando's that for me it was okay, I get it if Lando's 6 cars back.
Yeah.
But he's still riding on Oscar's tail.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What's the problem?
So
but
I reckon next year
Oscar won. They chose that way,
yeah.
But
I feel they're a solid team. They're a solid 2 drivers to have. Good 2 drivers that have a lot of potential between the both of them. And I think I'm keen as a bean for McLaren's season next year. I reckon
for sure. I think McLaren is definitely one of the most balanced teams on the grid.
Oh,
currently.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Listen, do you move on to the next?
Moving on to Ferrari.
We can do Ferrari.
Do you know where you are on your list?
Ferrari's number 2 on my list. I'm up to Aston Martin. Yeah, we can do Ferrari. I'm ready. I got it. Yep.
I'm just going all over the
Did
shop.
we talk about Ferrari?
So.
We didn't?
Did we?
I don't know.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
No.
No,
we didn't, because we haven't talked about Ollie.
Okay.
No, Ollie's 1.5.
Yeah.
We haven't I don't think we've talked. I don't know, man.
I'm confused. I think we were talking about it prior, and now I'm confused.
We were talking about, because I know that we talked about Carlos, but
yeah, I think I've just confused myself. No, do Ferrari, and then if we've done it twice, we'll just read it.
Okay, so we obviously have Mr. Charles Leclerc.
That sweet darling.
Everyone's favorite love interest.
Literally everyone's Monaco prince. He is there till 28.
That's as far as we know.
Yeah.
It is, I think, it's not officially confirmed, but it's definitely
it has been confirmed in the sense of he's getting a multi-year contract, like renewal.
Yes. He's definitely staying on for a few more years. What? How many years?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Don't ask.
He might do a Fernando Alonso. He might do a Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, we don't know either, so don't ask. He's had a rough season this year, Charles. I feel like
he's had a tough one.
It's been woohoo, and then it's just been devastating. I mean, the win in Monaco, amazing, incredible. Can confirm I cried. Again in Monza. Was it Monza he won again?
Monza.
Yeah. And he won again recently.
Yeah.
Austin, wasn't it? He won in Austin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, no, it was Austin. So he's had, a few wins. I guess not as many as Ferrari fans would like to see. He's kind of crawled himself, closed that gap between him and Lando point-wise for the championship. He's at 291 points and Lando's 15. So the gap's slowly closing, but I think with the way McLaren's racing, it's definitely going to be, McLaren higher up.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are some delusional Ferrari fans out there who hope that he can do like a Kimi Raikkonen in 2007 sort of move and win the championship from third place. But I think it makes sense that when Kimi Raikkonen did it, but I don't think that the cars that we have now allow him to do so unless and I think the only possible way for him to win the championship is for Max and Lando to pretty much not finish in the points and for Charles to win.
Absolutely.
So I don't think the Ferrari car right now is going to let him do that.
Yeah, no. I feel like I'm hoping they do some good development over their break and really sort it out for 2025. Oh my god, wait, what year are we in? I just know, my brain just clocked that. I was trying to look around for a calendar. I was like, where am I? My brain just went, what fucking year is it? That really wigged me out.
I think I just saw you glitch.
I feel like I just glitched. I was looking around for a calendar and I was like, bro, where are we? That made me feel sick. I don't like that. Next year is 2025. Okay. Ew. That just really wigged me out. I hope that there is more. I feel like it'll be interesting for Ferrari next year because we now have Lewis Hamilton as a Ferrari driver, which I'm still getting over.
I was shocked.
The rumours were there, and then it was like, oh, okay, and then just bam, out of nowhere in the middle of the night, it was like, hello, and it was like, what the fuck?
F1 is literally the biggest rumour mill to ever exist.
Literally.
And so I was like, oh, it's just a rumor. Lewis is never going to leave Mercedes. And if he's going to leave Mercedes, he's going to retire. And then suddenly he's going to Ferrari.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I'm still in shock. I reckon I feel like it's a good way to end your career. I don't know. We don't know if this is him actually ending his career. That's my speculation. I think from the way he's kind of discussed it sounding like we'll do Ferrari, then we'll probably dip.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how many years that'll be.
You never know.
I don't know how many years that'll be.
Exactly.
Again, I say this. It could be a Fernando Alonso sort of situation. He just hangs around.
Yeah.
But I do think that Ferrari is probably the last team that he'll go to.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a good last team to go to. I feel like Ferrari is one of those iconic teams that's been in the sport for so long. And I think it's one of those teams that everyone kind of dreams to get into. Like the typical, everyone's a Ferrari fan. I think deep down they are because it is so iconic, the team, like the brand and everything about it. So I'm not surprised that he's done that move to Ferrari. I just hope that they give him a good car.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like for Lewis as well, it kind of rounds out like doing the big three.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah.
he's done McLaren, he's done Mercedes, and now he's doing Ferrari.
Exactly.
Like, he's like, let me tick everything off my checklist,
Literally,
and then I can retire.
Hey, let's do this. I'm hoping they develop the car and they've got a better car next year, and it's.
I hope so, and I really hope that they don't go prioritizing Lewis over Charles.
I was just about
actively.
to ask you, who do you think would be considered the number one still? I feel like surely with Charles' loyalty to staying and everything, not that I really know where else Charles would go, it's like, do you try to push for Charles to eventually get that championship, or do you scratch that, keep him there as your second, and then push to try and get Lewis to win a championship with Ferrari to then beat his record, beat the record, and then have a Ferrari championship? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, what do you prioritise? Do you prioritise someone who's already got his hands full of world champions, or do we try to give it to Charles, who's been here from the get-go, in a sense?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the tough thing, is because it's like Lewis is a 7-time world champion, but Charles does have a lot of potential. So it's, I think that one's really like,
that's the thing.
It's really just going to be down to whatever Ferrari kind of wants out of their car and out of their drivers.
Yeah, oh my god, Archie's barking his head off because there's trick-or-treaters. I heard the door knocking before and I'm ignoring kids. Because there's so many houses next to me covered in Halloween shit. So I'm like, shut the fuck up. I was going to say, Archie. I hope personally that they don't prioritise Lewis. I would like to see them try to push for Charles to get a win. But if it gets to a point where it's like, okay, Lewis is doing so much better than Charles, he's higher up in this points in the championship, let's push for Lewis then. I get that. But if it's vice versa, then I hope that they push for Charles, kind of thing. Like, I feel like
totally.
It'll just be interesting how the way they approach that. Because Frederick and Lewis have worked together before. So they've kind of got that prior relationship and everything. And, like, obviously this is this the first season with Frederick here? Was he there last year too? He was there last year, wasn't he?
I want to say he was there last year too.
Apparently it's 2026 in my head.
Guys, I swear we know our stuff, and we actually did research this time.
Research every time. What are you talking about?
We just give us a break. We just finished our degrees. Like, I don't like saying that.
I bet. I just don't think about it, if I'm being honest.
So real. We get our final results tomorrow morning.
I haven't actually finished 2 of my assignments for my internship, so I will not be getting my results yet. I am technically considered to be doing trimester 3.
Really?
Because internships, the due dates, you have until Feb.
Right. But you're still graduating in Feb of next year?
Apparently so. So I don't know how it works. So
Strange.
That could potentially change. I know. So
interesting. Anyways.
Yeah, that's really off topic. He's been with Ferrari since last year. I thought so. Yeah, since last year.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's the thing. It's just going to be like one of those. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they don't, like you said, actively prioritise one over the other. They kind of look at how the season goes, put them as both potential for championship winners, and even if it just gets to a point, focus on constructors.
Yeah. Fully. I fully agree with you.
It'll be interesting to see all the Red Lewis match. That'll be fun.
That'll freak me the fuck out.
I know. I'm like, oh.
I don't know if you follow Thrift Flip on TikTok. She makes all of those corsets, those F1 corsets.
Yes.
Anyways, someone got a number 44 printed on like a red top.
Oh, I love.
Because she wanted a Lewis and Charles corset.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love this. This is so cool, but also I'm so freaked out by this. Like,
literally,
it's
such a weird concept, and he's been a Mercedes for so long that it's like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like the shock of like Ferrari's kind of come down now. Everyone's kind of gone through their stages of grief and have accepted it. I think it'll be a good season. I'm really interested to see the way the season pans out for Ferrari with these 2 drivers.
For sure.
2 incredible drivers. So I'm really, really curious. And I think it was a good, I feel like Lewis has had a good final season with Mercedes too. I mean, won Silverstone, that was amazing. Like, that was such a just like cherry on top of the cake kind of moment for the team. And for Lewis as well, and for Toto and Bono and everyone. Like, it was just one of those like wins where it was like
it's just like
heartfelt.
It's like one of those things that you can't even script it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, yeah, that was so amazing to see happen. So yeah, I feel like it'll be an interesting season, but I'm keen.
It will be.
So, well, we're going to do this one as a part 1, part 2, because we've just looked at how long we've been rambling on about these teams, but those are our major teams out of the way. Next episode, we'll kind of dive into Carlos and Danny Rick and everything that's been happening around there with V-Carb and Williams, which I think is very interesting. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find us at all of our socials, Girls in the Paddock, on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. We're also on Spotify, and we look forward to getting back into this and seeing you guys more often and showing you our beautiful faces while we ramble for our end.
Literally. Don't forget to please share this with all your friends.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we love you guys for listening, and we will
see you next time.
See you for part 2.
Awesome. See you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.